The first time they laughed at her, Clara was 22, standing nervously in the crowded boardroom of a major tech firm. She had just been hired as a junior software engineer, fresh out of college, full of ideas and determination. Yet, as she pitched a simple but revolutionary idea for improving their user interface, she felt the weight of their skepticism like a physical force. "You're ambitious," one of the senior engineers said with a smirk. "Do you really think you can handle something this complex?" Clara smiled politely, hiding the sting in her chest. That moment, though seemingly small, ignited a fire she couldn't ignore. She knew then that she wouldn't just work to prove her competence. She would work to shatter every doubt anyone ever had about her. The first challenge came quickly. Her project, despite months of research, was met with dismissal. Her ideas were too risky or unrealistic. Clara watched as her colleagues took credit for work she had inspired, and every rejection was a silent punch to her confidence. At home, she cried herself to sleep, exhausted by the constant pressure of proving herself in a world that seemed determined to minimize her. But somewhere between the tears and the frustration, something clicked. If they didn't see her potential, she would have to show it in a way that couldn't be ignored. Clara began working late nights, poring over every line of code, studying every algorithm she could find, and even learning areas outside her job description. She networked, quietly building allies who recognized her brilliance, and slowly, her reputation grew. Yet, success did not come without sacrifice. She missed family gatherings, birthdays, even moments with friends who didn't understand the obsession that now defined her life. The weight of isolation threatened to break her. Each small victory fueled her momentum. Years passed, and Clara faced her next challenge, a critical project with the company's highest-profile client. The stakes were immense. One mistake could cost her career entirely. The room was filled with men who still underestimated her, some openly, some subtly. They doubted she could manage the pressure, doubted she could lead a team, doubted she could deliver results. Clara felt a familiar knot of tension in her stomach, but this time, she was ready. She led her team with a mix of empathy and precision, turning skeptics into supporters as her strategy unfolded flawlessly. The project succeeded beyond expectations. It wasn't just a professional victory, it was personal. Clara realized that each dismissal, every doubted idea, had forged her into someone who refused to be limited by anyone's perception. She had turned their underestimation into fuel, transforming doubt into unstoppable drive. But perhaps the most profound challenge came when Clara was offered a leadership position she had once only dreamed of. Accepting it meant facing yet another kind of scrutiny, not just from her peers but from herself. Could she balance ambition with her personal life? Could she stay true to her values in a world that often rewarded compromise? For a moment, she hesitated, remembering the lonely nights, the exhaustion, the tears. And then she smiled. Every challenge she had faced had prepared her for this. She wasn't just ready, she was unstoppable. Clara's story spread quietly at first, then loudly. People started talking about the woman who refused to be underestimated, who transformed every obstacle into a stepping stone. She became a mentor, helping other women navigate industries that often tried to hold them back. She became a symbol, not because she never struggled, but because she never gave up. And in the quiet moments, when Clara reflected on her journey, she understood a simple truth: underestimating her wasn't their mistake. It was their loss. Because when someone underestimates a woman, they often fail to see what she will become: resilient, fearless, unstoppable. By the end, Clara stood at the top of her field, not just respected but revered. Not for the battles she had fought against others, for the battles she had fought within herself, and the triumph that emerged from relentless determination. And as she looked back, she realized that the fire that had once burned quietly in her chest had grown into a blaze bright enough to light the way for others who had been underestimated, too. Her story was no longer just hers, it had become a movement. And in that movement, one truth was clear: never underestimate a woman. Because when you do, she becomes unstoppable.